Fellow auto detailers, welcome to the show that features interviews with today's most successful auto detailers. This is the Auto Detailing Podcast. Here's your host, Jimbo Balaam.
This week's episode is brought to you by Google AdWords for the modern auto detail business. Now, this is a course, and Google AdWords is something that I've been doing in my personal detailing business for quite some time now, and it's something that I've tweaked and condensed and studied, and I've worked the perfect model to make profitable Google ads. So, Google ads can sometimes be, or paid advertising in general, can sometimes be a really scary thing to dive into. You're investing money, you're not sure what the outcome is going to be. But what I've done is developed a course outlining exactly how I run my personal Google ads, and I show you how you can do that too. So it leaves the guesswork out of it. You just are shown how to make profitable Google ads. So if you're interested in driving some serious traffic to your business, if you're looking at reaching new customers and you want to do it in kind of the modern approach to word-of-mouth marketing and taking advantage of the authority that Google offers and Google searching offers, because that's really what it comes down to, is taking advantage of the authority that Google offers you. And you could get the number one spot on the number one page for select keywords. If you're interested in this, and if you're interested in taking your business to the next level, head on over to autodetailingpodcast.com/Google. That's autodetailingpodcast.com/Google. Now back to the show. Hey guys, it's Jimbo with the Auto Detailing Podcast. And I just wanted to jump in before today's episode because if I would have went right to the episode, it might have been a little bit confusing. But the episode today is kind of a behind-the-scenes audio edition of the video that me and Darren Priest recorded a few weeks back now. And part one of that is up on YouTube. You can head over to Darren's YouTube channel, which I'll have linked up in the show notes if you haven't seen that video yet. Darren also has a bunch of other really informative, great videos. And I was introduced to Darren through Chris West with Solution Finished. And he called Darren the best detailer that no one's ever heard of. And I thought that was such an interesting title. So I reached out to Darren, and we talked on the phone a few times before we actually met up in person. And I really loved his style and his kind of approach to not only his YouTube videos and his YouTube channel, but kind of his approach to detailing. And it's very evident if you watch a few of his videos that his style is to be very real and very authentic, and no hidden agenda, and no, he's not trying to push anything upon anyone or push his own products or push whatever it is. He literally wants to give the best info out there. And not only the best info, but information that's realistic. With a lot of stuff on the internet, and a lot of stuff on blogs and even on YouTube and stuff, it's just not realistic with how stuff is portrayed, and it's really difficult to kind of vet that kind of stuff out. And that was one thing that I struggled with when I started my detailing business back in 2008, was that just starting out, I wasn't confident in my abilities anyway, and then to see some of what these guys talk about online, it really made me not confident in anything, really, and especially not confident in my abilities to detail a car, or that the services that I was providing were efficient for the customer. So to bring that back to Darren and kind of his style, he really breaks down real life detailing scenarios in his videos, how to handle it, and all that good stuff. So we met up actually for a couple hours a few weeks ago, and it was an awesome time. I had a great time. He posted a video on his channel like I talked about. But the whole time we recorded the video for his channel, I held my audio recorder. So I I did record our whole interaction the whole time, between, setting up the camera, kind of doing a couple intros, talking about a few different things. And so this interview goes about an hour, and it's really just a behind-the-scenes talk about us recording videos. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Definitely, catch up with Darren. Reach out to him. Tell him you heard him on the Auto Detailing Podcast. He'll love that. He's become a fan of the show, and really he's become a friend, and it's cool to find other people that are kind of like-minded within the industry, that kind of don't want to deal with all the BS and just want the truth. So that's what I like, and that's kind of what Darren offers too. So hope you guys enjoy this episode with me and Darren, and a little behind the scenes look at what it's like to record a video. And you guys know me, I don't do a whole bunch of editing. So this is a non-edited behind the scenes look at what it's like to record a video for YouTube, but also a podcast at the same time. So I hope you guys enjoy, and here we go. And I'm recording.
Do you care
right
if
now.
I lean up against this?
You're not going to scratch
Okay.
the headlight,
Yeah.
or the tail light.
It's funny how many people will. Okay, let's see. I always use these same words. Okay. Welcome, people.
Viewers.
Back to viewers. Very well put. What I have with me here, and not a what, but a who, is Jimbo. Now, is that your real name? I gotta ask you that.
It's my real name is James.
Okay, James.
But I've always, since I can remember, and my dad tells me the story of, him looking at me in the nursery and saying, Jimbo.
Oh, Jim,
So I've
okay.
literally, my whole life gone by Jimbo.
It's stuck with that.
It's stuck
Okay.
with that. And my dad is Jim. So when people call me Jim, it kind of throws me off, because I'm like, who's Jim? I'm Jimbo. Jim is my dad.
Okay. So just to let you know, we got to speak up.
Okay.
So it captures it. And right now I can tell the wind.
Okay.
So I don't know how much. We'll see when it plays.
Okay.
So here I am with Jimbo, who just got done explaining where that name came from. He reached out to me, found me on YouTube, I think it was.
Yeah, and Chris West.
Oh, and Chris West, which is of Solution Finish. So we've got a lot of wind going on right now, and I want to take you in and show you his setup. So we're going to open the doors, use the doors as a little wind barrier, and we're going to have a little interview going on here. So let's do that right now.
Cool. You want the doors open like this, or all the way open? You want me to open them?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Sit on the bumper for me. Yeah, let me see how that looks. Oh, that'd be good. I mean, the sun sucks for us, but whatever. I'm just worried about the wind. In fact, we'll shoot a new beginning.
Okay.
Just in case.
Sure.
Welcome, viewers. Sitting next to me is a gentleman named Jimbo. He is a fellow detailer in the Orange County area of California. He works out of Seal Beach, and if you know Orange County at all, that is a northern coastal community, a affluent part of Orange County. I myself work out of North Orange County. He contacted me, found me through my YouTube videos as we are here today. He actually has his own podcast, but before we get into that, let me allow him to introduce himself. First off, Jimbo, is that your real name, your official name? I'm guessing it's kind of a nickname.
It's a nickname, right? And when you say official, yes, it's my official name, but
Okay.
not on my birth certificate. So on my birth certificate, it says James, but literally my whole entire life, I've never gone by anything else besides Jimbo.
Okay, very good. So to get things rolling first, because I want to take you inside, and I plan on doing more of these interviews for you guys, because one of the big things that my viewers, it's like, hey, Darren, take me in. Let me see your setup. Where do you get those? I mean, they ask about everything, the microfibers. How come you don't have a water tank? All those questions. So it's like, hey, I want to bring you guys in to a guy that, how long have you been detailing?
I started my business in May of 2008.
Okay.
So, but before that, maybe a couple years of just kind of tinkering around with my own stuff.
Which is very common, myself included. And people ask, like, oh, when did you start? Well, you define start date, and then I can answer that question.
Exactly.
Because I started in high school.
Right.
In auto shop. My auto shop teacher would have me wash his car.
Right.
You know, so long as I got it mostly right, but had like 5 coats of armor on the tire, he was a happy camper.
Right.
And he so generously gave me a can of soda in return.
How nice.
It's like, wow, thanks, Bob Decius. And if you happen to be watching...
Hey, Bob, thanks for the soda.
Yeah, wow, what a giver. Anyhow, so you've been at it a while. Mm-hmm. What'd you say, 08 you started?
So it's about going on... I'm getting mixed up as the years go on, but about 7-8 years.
Okay.
So 5... Yeah, about... I don't know if it's 7 years going on 8 or going on 7.
Yeah. But the fact is that this is your world now. You do it full-time, correct?
Full-time.
Do you have any employees?
Nope.
Okay, you're like
on
myself.
and off, but I've never been able to find
reliable guy that knows how to work, right?
Exactly.
And that is one of my biggest pieces of advice, because I've been in the business a long time, as most of you know, and I've trained endless guys to either work for me or that have mentored with me or want to just do their own business, whatever. And one of the themes that has revealed itself is that people really don't know how to work. And they grossly underestimate how difficult, as in how hard this work really is.
That's the truth.
Would you agree?
Completely. And that's, I've taken a few guys under my wing, and they said, oh, I've done detailing before, I've done car washing before, whether that's true or not, whatever. Yeah. It's more so like, hey, I'm so busy, just jump in the van and let's go. You know what I mean? And then they work a couple days with me, and they're like, hey, man, I need more money. Or, or hey, man, or they just disappear. Yes. That's my favorite. And it's like, dude, where'd you go? Like, what happened to you? So, yeah, to try and find, I've always just gone back to, it's, for me, and being mobile specifically, it's just too much of a hassle, too much of a headache to not only manage my clients and my days and my weeks and what's going on with the business side of stuff, and then I have to deal with some crony who now I'm managing his schedule too and relying on him to show up. When I got a full day booked, that's happened to me too. I'm overbooked for one guy, and then because I'm depending on my guy to be there, worker, and then he's like, oh, I'm sick. Oh, I'm not going to make it. And I'm like, dude,
and you're screwed.
I'm screwed.
And now you've lost credibility because you've got to call those customers up. Because I promise you, someone's out there that has been in the business a little while, and they're saying, wow, that's not working smart. You guys are working too hard. Yep. You need to outsource your labor.
Haven't you read the E-Myth?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, we get it.
Right.
And what I was just having this discussion, I don't recall if it was my wife or someone else. It's like, you know what? I value, the older I get, the more I value my autonomy. And that means my independence. That means that all I have to worry about is me.
Yeah.
Well, I know me pretty well. I'm 50 now. I know me pretty well. And I just have to worry about me and my customer. I know I'm going to be on time. I'm going to do what I'm going to say I'm going to do. And I know that as a rule, I can work circles around most guys that think, hey, man, I love cars. I've worked on my cars myself. I know what I'm doing. It's like, okay, that's one thing. But do you actually know how to work hard and with a level of urgency?
Yeah.
And that's what's difficult as a business owner, is finding that winning combination of an employee, and it's tough. So just like you, it's like, you know what? This may not be under the category of working the smartest, but it's called my value system. And what I truly value is knowing that I don't have to wait for a guy to show up, get a phone call saying, hey, Darren, sorry, I'm running late. Or I'm sick. And it's like, oh, yeah, no big deal. We've got 5 cars lined up because I was counting on you. But yeah, I'm sure my customers will understand.
Yeah, no big deal.
So my goal and mission has just to figure out how to become as profitable and efficient as I can by myself, because I know that I'm reliable.
And that's speaking from, didn't you have multiple crews and multiple guys?
At the height of my empire, how about that for dramatization? I had a shop in Santa Ana.
Okay.
I did wholesale work out of it. I had 2 full-time guys that literally did all the wholesale work for a dealer. And he's still in business today, the dealer. It's called Phillips Auto on PCH.
Yeah. Yep.
we entered into an arrangement, an agreement, business contract, all that good stuff. Did not last very long because, unfortunately, stereotypes exist for a reason. So after we entered that arrangement, he changed the rules.
Nice.
And it's like, okay, you've shown me, you revealed to me who you really are, and we're going to part ways. In the meantime, I had 2 full guys doing all the wholesale detailing 5 days a week. Then I took in retail work that I would oversee and wedge in between the wholesale stuff. But then I had 4 separate crews that also would operate out of there. They would show up, 4 different trucks. Most of the time I was working out of S10s, little Chevy S10s with a tonneau cover. Everything was neat and tight and fit under that tonneau cover so we could lock it up. And we were going out all over Orange County.
You're big time.
Big time headaches is what it was, you know. And at the end of the day, that's why I thought, this sucks.
Yeah.
At the end of the year, it's like, yeah, I did $200,000 in business. Wait, how much did Darren make? It's like, are you kidding me? That's what I'm walking away with these headaches?
And that's what, and especially in California. And it was funny, I saw Richard Lynn, who's up in Anaheim.
He's right by me.
Yeah.
He's literally like 3 miles from me.
Yeah, he mentioned something on one of the Facebook groups, and he goes, a detailer was talking about moving to California to start up a detail business, and he said, I don't know why anyone would move to California to start a fixed location detail shop. Just the headaches with OSHA, and just all. Anyway, we could talk about
go
that
on
forever. But.
Yes. So, working smart, to me, that's your value system, and that's one of the things I preach is that a detailing business, one of the unique things about it is that it literally can be whatever you want. So you can grow it into a behemoth of a machine.
Right.
And maybe you out there will be better than us sitting right here.
Go for it.
Go for it. In fact, I was on a phone call this morning, a friend that I grew up with who is an attorney in Las Vegas, does not like practicing law. He charges $300-400 an hour. Makes a great living, but he doesn't like practicing law.
Right.
Partnering up with a guy that wants to go into detailing, and I thought, wow, this is interesting. So I spent an hour with him saying, you know what? Believe it or not, I just simplified my world. I've learned how to fly under the radar, avoid the endless, what would I call, over-regulation of this state, where they want to regulate you out of business, essentially. It is not a business-friendly state here in California. So I've learned all these workarounds, how to fly under the radar, and how to become as profitable as possible. And that's what I'm trying to teach my viewers is it can be much more simplistic than what you are learning on the forums, whether it's car forums or the detailing forums that make my head want to explode.
Well, because you could have a shop and you can have 4 crews going, and that's really cool to say. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
it sounds
bragging rights.
It sounds awesome, but if your personal income sucks, say it's $30,000 a year. I mean, that would really suck. But whatever.
It was a little bit more, but honestly, not much more.
But if you could make that same amount of money, and be operating just as you are and I am, just as a one-man crew, and make that same amount of money
part-time
and work part-time without all the extended headaches that come with running all those crews. Again, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just whatever you want to do.
Yeah, and that's where your value system comes in. And so I know you guys starting out in the business, you probably have these very lofty goals. It's like, oh, I want a shop, I want mobile crew. I don't know what your goal, I don't know what your end vision is. I just know that I've been at that level. I would choose this any day of the week. I am more profitable today, busier, more business than I can handle, and I have complete autonomy, which means it's my schedule. Of course, I work for my customers and I am held accountable to my customers, but I know I'm in control because I can deliver a service that I rarely get to enjoy myself. And that's part of my passion, is giving something that I rarely get, is that experience that includes everything. A guy that shows up on time, he calls the night before to confirm, he does what he says he's going to do, he gets information out of me as the customer that I don't even know to ask. and I'm going to pull that information out of them so I can manage their expectations, deliver on those expectations, and hopefully over-deliver on the expectations. So I know that's what I bring to the table. I don't want all the BS that can be out there. Sure, it's less bragging rights, but that's where you need to separate the ego.
Totally.
It's like, okay, at this age, my ego has been tamed quite a bit.
Right.
Doesn't mean I don't still have one.
Right.
I'm still human.
And you're still motivated. You still want, you still want more work, I'm sure, even though you're busier than you can handle. If you lost a big client, you'd still go hustle.
Exactly.
Right. It's not saying any of that. It's just
right. And the novelty is that as you get enough customer base, you can pick and choose.
Yeah.
And you start taking what is called the gravy work. And I like the gravy work. But with that said, I still do the messy work that other people don't want to touch. But trust me, I charge a premium for that work. And so I don't care how dirty I get.
Right.
Because I know I'm walking away making $80 to $100 an hour. And it's like, okay, how much college would I need?
Right. Yep.
And how much of that corporate ladder and corporate BS would I have to climb through and wade through in order to make that kind of money, and still have to show up and be held accountable for all these stupid ass managers, upper management, go down the list.
Yeah, just the inefficiencies.
Oh my gosh, makes my head want to explode.
You know what's funny? I was cleaning a rim one day, and I was on my hands and knees, and I was thinking, man, I don't know. I've never worked, well, I don't know about that, but it's interesting. Detailing is interesting in that you can make really good money doing it. But then you look at some of the things that you have to do, and you're cleaning a rim. Like I just thought, man, I'm filthy dirty, cleaning this dirty rim.
Yes.
Like, this is grunt work, right?
Yes.
Like, I shouldn't be doing this anymore. So
it's like, I'm above this, aren't I? At this age, should I not be above this?
Right. I don't know where I was going with that, but it was.
But it's a valid point.
I just remember thinking, like, man, this is weird.
Literally yesterday, I'm in the car with my wife. We're headed to the gym. We like to work out together, and it's important to at least kind of be in shape in this, because it's physical.
I don't know how some guys do it.
So I'm looking at her saying, wow, honey, sometimes I am out there working. It's 90 degrees outside. Humidity's like 70%, which I know you guys back east are saying, oh my gosh, that's a cakewalk, you big pussy. It's like,
it's hot out here.
It's relative. Here in California, that sucks.
It's hot right now.
And I am dripping wet. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm a 50-year-old guy, and look what I am doing.
I know.
But you know what? Also, the next thought that's going through my head is like, hell no, do I want to be in a cubicle working on a keyboard and making someone else wealthy and not myself.
Great point.
And so it's like trade-offs, and that's what you've got to figure out is what is the winning combination for you. And it will be a moving target. Just when you think you've got your crosshairs on that target, you either get older or a life event happens or something, and you'll reposition. It's like, wait a minute, I used to want that, now I want this.
Right.
But that's what's cool about detailing is it literally can scale up, scale down, be whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
And that's what's cool about detailing. So as difficult as it can get with the weather and the hard work, I still wouldn't trade it in.
Right.
And I have tried. I mean, if you read my biography, which I need to update, and I was telling this to my wife and daughter, we were both out the other night, and I said it would be laughable. People would look at it, and relative to society's interpretation of what success is and stability, they would look at that and say, oh my gosh, this guy's a whack job,
You failed your way to success.
See, that's one of my favorite sayings. And I use the metaphor of an airplane on autopilot. The elements are constantly pushing that airplane off course, but the autopilot constantly pulls it back on course. And so literally you could say that plane fails its way to its destination or success. And I do the same thing where I know that I will have a vision, and I'm a big fan of Stephen Covey and his 7 Habits.
Yeah.
And he talks about having you start with the end in mind. So if you know what you want to end up doing, becoming, creating, then you work backwards from there.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? life is never linear. You're constantly pushed off course. And so you either get back on course, or maybe when you get pushed off, you say, oh, wait, I just gained a new perspective.
Right.
I actually like this, or I see opportunity in this. Had I been so rigid and hyper-focused, I would have missed this opportunity.
Totally.
So it's constantly responding. It's like,
Right.
okay, I'm off course. I need to readjust and get back on course. Or it's like, hey, I've been blown off course. Maybe there's some opportunity here. And I have a video about this where it's like, I want these guys to be an idea machine.
Right.
Because there's opportunity everywhere.
Well, and to bring it full circle, maybe, the vision that your viewers have for their detail business is to be that full-blown shop with a bunch of rigs going, and that is their end in mind.
Right.
But then they have something happens in their life or something, and they realize, hey, I am just a one-man crew, or I am a one. That's the detour that you're talking about. But another thing that, this is totally random, but I just thought of being a mobile detailer, or even a detailer in general, another cool thing of it is that you get to meet so many different people, and you never know the opportunity that comes from that. From that person.
That relationship.
And I can't tell you how many times during the winter months here, what I would call winter.
I know. They're out there laughing. Oh, yeah, give me a break, guys. California.
But, in the first years that I started detailing, I was slow during those rainy days, you know? And I I've sold tunnel covers for customers. Yeah. I've sold cars on Craigslist. I've sold neon signs.
That's funny you say that, because some of the stuff I've done for my customers, literally, I'm like their errand boy. Yeah. I am their bitch. It's like,
and I'm cool with it.
I'm so okay with it. I'll
don't
be
care.
your bitch all day long, long as I get paid for it.
All day.
And it is interesting because ultimately it is about the relationship.
Yep.
And that's why I just drive it home over and over again about trust. Trust is paramount, because without trust, nothing happens. So everything you do will either develop that trust or it will diminish that trust. And I mean everything, whether it's showing up 2 minutes late. Trust me, there's people out there that are watching their watch. I
have a client with a grandfather clock.
Yeah, and they literally, and I've had someone say to me personally, they said, wow, Darren, were you waiting around the corner so you could show up and ring my doorbell right at 9 a.m.?
Yep.
It's like, well, no, I wasn't, but I like being prompt.
Yeah.
So
totally.
Trust me, there's a lot of quirky people out there, and you are often under a microscope that you do not know is there.
Yeah.
And that's why it's like you have to gain a sense of self-awareness, everything you do. And that awareness is also paramount to detailing, because it is all about the details. And I have another video where it's like, if you can't see it, you can't clean it. So if you don't know how to look at a door panel and break it apart, the seams, the nuances, the mesh, the whatever, you can't clean it. So how you can see the obvious. Right. It's like, oh yeah, it's clean. And then a guy like you or myself come in, it's like, dude,
it's filthy.
What about that? What about that? Well, I didn't know that counts.
Right. Now you're picking apart my van.
Yeah. Oh no.
Just kidding.
Let me let's hold that thought.
Okay.
I'm gonna stop this because sometimes this will overheat and I sit there but what I want to do is shoot a brand new beginning.
Okay.
And introduce you really quick. Just say, hey, I'm here with Jimbo. He runs his own business out of Seal Beach. But before we get started, we got to give a shout out.
Okay, cool.
And then I want to do the shout out, and then I want to talk about the fact that you're holding this camera.
I know. I thought I was gonna, and I'm gonna keep recording through this, and just maybe I'll do
is it still on?
Yeah.
Okay.
But maybe I'll do an episode. And again, I could edit this out or not edit it out. But maybe I'll do. It might be kind of cool to be like, hey, behind the scenes. Yeah. Audio.
I'll tell you about my ideas.
Okay, cool.
When that
I'd rather have more
than less.
Because I could always take it away.
Exactly.
So I'm just going to keep it rolling.
So get back here if you're okay. So this will be a new intro. Okay, check this out. I'm here with a gentleman named Jimbo. He operates a professional mobile detailing business out of Seal Beach, which is...
The professional part's questionable.
Oh, professional. Yes, based on who you ask, right?
Master detailer.
Master detailer, yes. We can find over-embellished labels for ourselves all day long.
Yeah.
So a couple things. First off, we got to do a shout out because when we arrived here today, you told me that you saw a post on Facebook.
Yeah, you had just posted your video. Your Optimum no rinse video, and
you told me about a group called Waterless and Rinseless Detailers group on Facebook.
Yep, and someone posted your video there, and I thought it was kind of cool, and so I posted like, "Hey, cool, random. I'm going to meet with Darren later," and then a couple comments ensued. So
we are giving you a shout out, guys, to Abram Larless. Sorry,
we couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, we couldn't figure it out. We're not that sharp. We're sharp, but not that sharp. Yes. So lower your expectation, guys.
Please, way lower.
And a shout out to Nate and Stace Chalmers, who asked about the uniform.
Yeah, he liked your shirt.
So let's start with yours, which is very professional.
Well, I told him about it. I said, hey, this is where I go.
Okay.
I go to Queensboro.com. I don't get
Never heard of it.
Okay. They were running a Facebook ad one day, and it said like $10 embroidered shirt. Wow. And I was like, I'm in.
Smoking deal.
So
sign me up.
I got it, and the shirts were fine. $10. I got 6 of them.
Can I see what
this
brand?
One's Nike. So this I upgraded.
Wow. Yes,
I upgraded a little bit.
There's a good upgrade.
This one was not $10, but I got it. Fine shirts. $10 embroidered with my logo. I couldn't believe it.
That's a sweet deal.
And then this one is the Nike Dry Fit Polo. It looks a little nicer. The other one's faded out kind of quickly. But this one I think was still $25. Now with that company you got to watch the deals because one night I was looking and I think this shirt was $35 embroidered, and then the next I'm like, I'm not paying $35. That's ridiculous, you know. And then the next day I went on and it was $25.
Yeah.
So watch for the deals, but that's where I go. But he said, I don't care where you go. Where does Darren go? So.
No, it's
apparently you got more pull.
The guys do want, and that's actually a work in progress. Just to let you guys know. Because I know when I was starting out, it's like, do I want to invest $800?
Yeah.
Because there's these minimum orders.
Right.
And this is before the internet ever existed. Mm-hmm. Now it's easier for you guys, and you can find them through like Vistaprint or I don't know what.
Everywhere.
But this was one of my ventures that I still participate in, which is the wearables and promotions.
There you go.
So I actually do my own shirts. This one happens to be Sport Tech. I've got endless catalogs. You could fill an entire stadium full of catalogs from the wearables industry. So I actually do my own shirts. I can order them wholesale because I'm still part of that industry. I do my own artwork design. I have to give it to a computer guy so he'll put it in the right format for me. And then I just find my own what's called a contract screen printer that does contract printing. So I actually do my own shirts. I do the legwork. But like everything else in my life, I'm pretty particular. So I like to spend time picking out just the right shirt or whatever.
Sure, yeah, definitely.
So, but that's part of, that professional look.
Right.
So a shout out to you guys. Next, I want to address, why is he holding this microphone, which he will be doing through this whole process? So tell us about your podcast.
So I do the Auto Detailing Podcast, or I don't do the podcast. I host.
You host
the Auto Detailing Podcast. And really kind of like when we started talking last week or a few weeks ago, whatever it was, it was created out of a need to, or a want to help other guys out. Speaking of forums and Facebook groups and stuff like that, there's so much misinformation out there and so much bad information, and something you allude to a lot is not reality.
Yes, yes.
Sometimes they're called keyboard detailers or whatever their title is. That there's all this info out there from these guys that actually aren't really living it. Yes. I think, like you like to say.
Yeah,
and
they're essentially the backseat driver.
Exactly.
Or what do they call it, the Monday night quarterback? I don't know. I'm not a sports guy, so I don't know.
Something like that. And so I started, I listened to podcasts every day while I was at work. So I thought like one day, like, oh, it'd be cool to have a podcast, but what would I talk about? Like, I have nothing to talk about. I remember even telling someone, like, I don't have anything to talk about. You know what I mean? And then one day it clicked, like, oh, I wonder.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a detailing podcast out there that I could actually hone my skills and my craft while I'm actually doing this stuff. And I didn't find any. My initial search I couldn't find any detailing podcast. And it was like my light bulb moment, like, oh my gosh, I think I can do the auto detailing podcast. Yes. Are you kidding me? There's no auto.
Yeah.
auto detailing.
How is this possible?
How is this possible? So I ran home and got the domain name, autodetailingpodcast.com and the autodetailingpodcast.com.
So that's how you can find it.
Yeah.
autodetailingpodcast.com.
Yeah. And that'll have a link to how to get it in iTunes or in Stitcher, or they can listen to it right there on the website. I also upload just the audio to YouTube.
Yeah.
So if they like watching still images with audio on
yeah.
YouTube,
Yeah.
you can do that there.
What I did is when he told me about it, and I'm not tech savvy, which any of my regular viewers know, I'm challenged that way. So I learned only the requirements, put it that way.
Yeah.
But what I did I do have a new iPhone.
Okay.
And so you download the app that allows you to stream podcasts.
It's the podcast app. It should come actually what they call native on the phone. So they shouldn't have to download the podcast app.
Okay.
It should automatically be on their phone if they're up to date on the recent updates.
I couldn't even tell you how I found it, but I did find it. I remember I had to click install, and it was there.
Okay.
Once I opened that up, then I did a search for Auto Detailing Podcast, and bam, it came right up.
Yeah.
And then it just shows me your playlist.
Yep.
And you've got a lot. How many what would be your guesstimation?
Just yesterday I recorded, it won't be out for a couple weeks, but I just recorded episode 180.
Wow.
So there's 180
That's impressive.
episodes, whether that's just a quick tip of me talking,
Right.
or it's actually sitting down like what we're going to do with this one. This will be an episode, or more recently I just recorded with like a female detailer.
Oh, cool.
So that was
yeah.
cool. She runs her own shop. And then a brother and sister detailing duo,
Yeah.
they called themselves, which was
Yeah.
cool. So I try and run the gamut, and it's not just all technique. It's a lot of the detailer's journey into how they got into detailing, why they got into detailing.
Which is a perfect parallel to what I'm...
Right.
And I think you would respond in like with this, which is what I'm trying to teach you guys is more than just detailing. What I'm trying to also teach them is what I call life skills.
Right.
So
Yeah.
whether you stay in the detailing business or
Right.
not,
They're all
these are
transferable.
skills that you can take with you, because I think that everyone should look at themselves as their own business entity.
Yeah.
So what do you bring to the table as a possible employee, or as a business owner, or as a business partner? Never mind being a detailer to your
Right.
customer. What do you bring to the table? So I'm trying to teach them stuff
Yeah.
that I had to learn the hard way.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
tripping over my own feet, awkward moments,
Yep.
go down the list.
Yep.
It's like, you know what? You don't actually have to go through
Right.
all those bad, difficult, painful experiences if you open your ears and your eyes.
Yep.
Ears in this case, ears and eyes in this case.
Right. And that is, I think Chris West was the first person to tell me about you, and he described you as the best detailer no one's ever heard of.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and so I think that's what the title of this episode will be, just to catch eyes. But then when I started looking at your YouTube videos and I started seeing what you were all about, I thought to myself, man, I got to get this guy on the show, because I'm constantly looking for people who share that same philosophy that I do of helping other people out. It didn't seem like you were trying to push one particular product or one particular brand,
or my own specific
or your
agenda
own
down
agenda.
everyone's-
Exactly.
Yeah.
You seem like a real dude who is willing to help other people out, and that is who I look for in a guest. I've had a lot of people write in, say, "Oh, get this guest on the show, get this guy on the show," and when I go to reach out to them, they're just complete jerks.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, I don't, it's funny, an interesting thing when you start growing a following,
Yeah.
you kind of get protective over this following.
Yes.
And even though these people that I try and bring in, some have bigger followings than me,
Right.
I'm like protective of my little flock of
Oh,
following.
absolutely.
And it's like, well, hey, if this guy's going to be a jerk to me, like off camera,
Right.
or be off recording, I don't want to bring him on the show and be like, hey, it's showtime, put
Yeah.
on your happy face.
Yeah, by the way, this guy's a complete douchebag.
Yeah.
But I'm going to now connect you guys.
Right.
And, yeah.
So I've just started to, just because people have big followings doesn't mean they're nice people.
Right.
Or they are nice people, and
You don't know
I don't
until
know.
you know.
You don't know
Yeah.
until you know. But all I can say is I try and bring real people on to talk about real struggles and give real quality information without some hidden agenda.
Yeah. And I hopefully, and I think most people would agree, is that if you watch enough of my videos, I'm very transparent
Yeah.
about my agenda. Yes, I am trying to supplement my income.
Right.
This is how I'm doing it.
Right.
You, on that end, you have no idea the amount of time and effort that goes into this,
right,
your podcast or these videos. It is a daunting
And not to
undertaking.
mention that, but we met here at 2 o'clock on a Thursday.
Yes.
And it's summertime.
And we could be out
We could be out making money. But you know, but it's not an unfair transaction either.
No, it is what I call win-win. Once again,
Absolutely.
to borrow from Stephen Covey.
Yeah.
If both sides are not winning, I'm going to walk away from the table.
Absolutely.
Because I want to win, but I want you to win also. Yeah. And I truly operate out of a philosophy that the more I can help you guys get what you want, whether it's you, Jimbo, here live, or you guys in virtual land, if I can help you get more of what you want, I know that the universe will respond accordingly. Now, you can say that's all this psycho, mumbo jumbo, babble, whatever. It don't matter.
Right.
You can call it whatever you want. Karma, law of reciprocity. I don't care. It's just that's just what I embrace, that a philosophy. So I've told them point blank, yes, I make money when you click on the link and buy something from AutoGeek or Amazon.
Right. Yeah, and what I've tried to do, because I'm with you in that, like I'm doing this, first of all, I love teaching guys, and I love seeing guys implement the stuff that I teach or say, and they're like, oh my gosh, man, like stupid. It worked. Like the stupid stuff. Like I had a quick tip one time, and this is off tangent, and this video is probably going to be very long, but for accepting credit cards in the Square Reader, there's a function in there where you can add tipping above the sign.
Wow, that is cool.
And you could do a percentage or a dollar amount. So I had a quick tip hey, make sure you have this in there, because
power of suggestion.
Hey, it's just there. They're already running their credit card. It might just be an easy button. And that day, a guy Facebook messages me and says, man, I just got I forget the dollar amount now, $15 or $20 tip.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Like, you just made an extra $20. Yeah. So I hope to not only, in sharing information like that, not only help guys make more money, but also stupid stuff like...
hey, you got a quick question?
Well, yeah, I wanted a business card. You do bumper repair?
Well, yes. Actually, this is okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
My viewers love these candid moments. We just so you guys know, we had a guy. We're in a parking lot at a mall, and we're actually filming a thing here. So, just a quick interruption. I'll give him a card.
Yeah.
Do you do bumper repair or anything?
I don't.
Oh, you gotta.
I'll tell you what. Call me later tonight, and I can send you in the right direction.
Okay. Have a good day.
Take care. See ya. That's real life right there.
Real life. Doesn't get any more real than that.
So, but also helping guys out and like, hey, where do I go to buy my domain name?
Yes.
You know, or how do I host? What is, like, I remember for me, I'm like, wait, it doesn't make sense. You have to buy a domain and then you have to host it. Why is that just not the same thing? Like,
exactly.
I don't get it. So if I can point guys to, hey, check out my affiliate. Yes, it's an affiliate link.
Which means you get a little bit of a commission.
I get a commission for referring you there.
Right.
But not only that, but through my affiliate link, you're going to get a free domain with a hosting plan. And this is the go-to place for hosting or whatever. So it's not just, hey, I've been feeding you all this information. How about you click this thing and make me a few pennies? It's, no, and I'm sure you share the same philosophy as, I'm going to give you even more value in this service. I'm just going to get a little bit in return.
Right.
And it's not even costing the viewer, the listener, any more money.
Right.
We're actually getting the benefit directly from that third-party company.
Which, to reduce it down to the win-win, you know?
Well said.
We've got experience.
Yeah.
We want to share it.
That's it.
We want you guys to win.
Yeah.
It does reciprocate itself, because I have people that say, hey, Darren, like in other countries. I mean, I get people all over the world.
Yeah.
Darren, I can't order that stuff. I can't have aerosol cans shipped overseas or whatever. I wish I could help you out. So what I am going to do is I'm going to make and I've had guys that will literally reach out and say, Darren, can I send you some money? And I'm thinking, you know what? I appreciate the offer. Don't worry about it. I'm just happy to help.
Just give him my address.
Right. That was good. What I am going to do, because I've actually opened up my email and found that someone has literally just given me money through PayPal.
Wow.
It's like, wow, it was totally unsolicited.
Wow.
But they just add a little note. I just wanted to say thank you for all the information.
Awesome.
And it's like, wow, how cool is that?
Yeah.
You know? Was it solicited? Did I say, hey, dude, I'm not going to talk to you on the phone for half an hour unless you, donate to my PayPal account? No, I don't.
Right.
I wish I had more time to take all those calls, which, we just don't. But this is the value of these videos also, is that we can reach this big audience and we can take an hour to do it.
Right.
But now it is in virtual reality forever until we take it down, and it can just keep paying it forward and forward and forward.
Absolutely.
So now that we've drawn, were you going to add something?
No,
okay.
I was actually had no words to say after that.
Oh, wow.
Surprisingly.
So, I just stopped it.
Okay.
What's your time schedule?
I got time.
Because that's a lot of, like, what time is it right now?
3:12.
Okay. What do we meet at 2? So maybe what we can do, do you have enough info on that, or do you need to ask me anything specific or whatever, or that you would like to?
We could, or
because while you're here, what I'm thinking is just doing a 5-minute, hey, cut to the chase. Let's check out your operation. You and I.
Let's do what. We could talk forever.
Yeah.
Let's do what you had in mind.
Okay.
And then maybe I'll just ask you a few questions, like how you got into the detailing industry.
Okay.
Maybe one product that's changed the way you detail cars.
Okay.
One question I'm trying to formulate, and I haven't been able to do it, but like, what's one product? Like, if you could only have one. See, I don't know how, because we obviously need more than one product to detail cars, but if you only had $100, or what is one piece of equipment that you couldn't live without?
I know where you're headed, I know.
I just can't formulate it.
It's hard to reduce it down to a very concise question with a very simple answer.
Right.
It's like, okay, maybe it would be, if you had to pick 3 pieces of equipment, what would it be? And if you had to pick 3 products, what would it be?
Good one.
And I think I could answer that.
Let's answer it.
Okay. Is that
Go
still
ahead. Yes,
going? Okay.
I'm still going.
So, pieces of equipment, it would be, to really reduce it down to the simple, it would be a vacuum cleaner.
That was my first one,
I guess a garden hose, because I never know if the home that I'm going to go to.
Right.
So I'm thinking as a true, absolute beginner.
Right.
So
exactly.
A vacuum cleaner, a garden hose, a nozzle of some kind, and right there would be 3, and it's like, well,
maybe
but
an extension
need a 4th.
cord.
Yeah,
I know.
I need a 4th.
I know.
I need a 5th.
I know.
But you can't keep it so simple.
Right.
So that was good.
Okay.
Extension cord.
Right. Vacuum,
a hose, a nozzle, and then it would go into the next question, which is if you had to pick 3 products, what would you pick? For me, it would be some kind of surface preparation bar, whether it's a clay bar, a surface sponge or mitt, like the nano skin.
Okay.
And it would be obviously a bundle of microfiber cloths.
Okay.
And a can of wax.
What about
soap? And I would
soap?
probably
No soap?
Nope.
Okay.
Because I know I could
get around it.
I could do a workaround.
What about an all-purpose cleaner?
See, that would be number 4 or 5.
Okay.
You know why?
There we go.
Because
it's so
I know
versatile,
that I could pull up and make money.
Right.
Because people already know they need wax on their cars.
Totally. Good thought. Yep.
And I want them to be able to come out and feel their car.
Yes.
And build value into that wash and wax that's different than the car wash. Because the car wash will take your money.
Right.
Hey, we're going to apply this wax.
Right.
And they've never taught you, hey, have you ever felt your paint?
Right.
Yeah, it feels a little rough. Why is that?
Good point.
Well, guess what? Washing and waxing don't take care of that. But this clay bar that I have will.
Right.
So I know that with those simple products, I could actually go out and start making money by just providing a wash and wax. I've got my microfibers.
Yep.
I could tell them, hey, you're getting your car washed somewhere else. Just have it washed before I show up.
Right.
And now I'm going to wash.
Nice.
Now I'm going to clay and wax your car.
Nice.
And I'm going to charge you $35.
Right.
Now, to you and I, it's like, wow, that's chump change. $35? Are you kidding? But when I first started out,
That was big
if
money.
I could make $15 an hour,
Yeah.
because tell you what, when I first was in the working world, I was making $7
Yeah.
an hour.
Yeah.
I think minimum wage isn't minimum wage
I
like
think
$8?
minimum wage in California now is $9.
Okay. So I wasn't even making minimum wage,
Right.
and that wasn't even minimum wage back
Right.
then. So $7 an hour at least was better than minimum wage,
Right.
which I think was $3.35 at the time. I mean, this is in the Wayback
Yeah.
Machine.
Now you can make 7 times that in
Yeah,
1 hour.
and so
potentially.
if I thought I could make $15 an hour, I thought,
Right.
sign me up all day long. At least I'm not answering to someone else.
Yep.
This is my own deal now. So I know that with those simple products, I could
Love
actually
that.
go out and make money.
Love that.
So that's
a good
it
answer. That was a
reduced
good
down
question
to-
and a good answer. Yeah,
anyhow.
because you can make it work.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be ideal, and that's not the
Right.
point of the question. It's not ideal.
Yeah.
But
it's a stepping stone to
Exactly.
the next one and the next one and the next one. And that's the cool thing about detailing.
Yep.
You don't that's the good news, guys. You don't have to know it all
You don't.
out of the box.
in order to, kind of like what we were talking about earlier, like I don't want to be the best podcaster out there. And I don't know if you take the same philosophy, but I don't know if you want to be the best videographer.
Yes, I do.
Eventually, but if you,
Am I
okay.
right now? Hell no.
Okay, but see, that's how I take it. Like, well, I guess I should rephrase that. I do want to be the best podcaster.
But it's not what drives you.
Exactly.
Where it's like, because that's to me working out what I call a mentality of competition.
Yeah.
I want to work out a mentality of creativity.
Yeah.
Which, to explain it to you're taping this, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hope so.
To explain it to your audience, the difference is perspective. So it's kind of like coming up to a kitchen and there's a piece of pie there, and it's cut into 8 pieces. Well, guess what? You look around, there's 9 people in the room. And you're like, okay, I got to get my piece first, because if I don't, it's like musical chairs. I'm going to be left with no piece of the pie.
Right.
That's competition.
Right.
But creativity is like, well, wait a minute.
Yes.
Maybe we could cut it into 9 pieces, or maybe we could make a bigger pie.
Right.
Or maybe someone
Love
in here
that.
actually doesn't want a piece of pie if we just ask them.
Exactly.
So that's creativity. So that's where I got on the tangent, and now I just lost myself. It's to the point. I guess
I do that all the time.
defining-
I get so caught up in the
Yes.
story that I'm telling, and I'm trying to, just pitch it up perfectly, and I get to hit the ball, and I lost it.
Yeah, I think really what I'm trying to illustrate is that I operate under certain philosophies,
Yeah.
whether it's the law of reciprocity, the difference between competition versus a creative mind, because a competition is based in force rather than power. And
Right.
that's another thing I could drone on about. What's
Yeah.
the difference between force and power? I want to operate out of power.
Yeah.
And I think that's, to use a term that I actually like also, is to come full circle.
Yeah.
Because you say, do you want to be the best? It's like, actually I do. But that's not my motivation.
Right,
It's
right.
just in the name of being the best, because to me that's like, oh, I'm going to show them.
Right.
I'm going to dominate, and I'm going to kick your ass to the curb because I'm the best.
Right.
Well, that's the ego talking.
Right.
Do I want to be the best? I want to be the best in everything.
Right.
But that's just how I operate, because the best is a moving target.
Right.
So my best today should be different than my best tomorrow.
Right.
So if I can improve, and I'm going to borrow something from James Altucher.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you follow him?
Yeah, I know.
I want to improve 1% every day.
Yep.
That's all I want to do
Yep.
is 1%.
Because you'll be 365% better at the end of the year.
Exactly.
Or something like that, right?
Now, whether I really get or not,
Right.
maybe some days I'll get 2% better.
Sure.
How do you even quantify that? You
Right.
can't. But if you work towards it, then you realize that being best is a moving target, and
Right.
I'm always looking to improve every part of my life.
Love that.
Yes. Can it wear you out? Absolutely.
bit, yeah.
It depends on, once again, perspective.
Right.
Anyhow,
Love
so
that.
any other
Uh,
questions?
how,
off the top of
I
your
guess
head?
how did you get into detailing? Like I
Accidental.
Okay. And,
Yeah.
and maybe we talked about this on the phone, which I think we talked about. I should always just record my phone calls with guys, because
Yeah, I
that would be
know.
the episode. But in the video we talked about, or first of all, talk about your YouTube channel. Well, hold on, let me get my thoughts together. But I
That's
want to make
okay.
sure to promote
That's
your
okay.
your channel too.
I think we've talked about it enough.
Okay,
I
but-
mean, it's an easy find. Auto Fetish Detail.
Okay. So, but in the video we talked about how you had crews going, 4 crews, a shop, wholesale work, retail work, all the dream, right?
Yes.
So,
Living the dream.
yeah, air
Yes.
quotes. But how did you, going way back, how did you get started in the detail industry, and why the detailing industry?
It was completely accidental.
Okay.
So I was merely a, what is it? The necessity is the mother of invention. So I was not making enough money at $7 an hour,
Right.
working for this douchebag of a company that is non-existent anymore. And I literally, and talk about the Wayback Machine, what did we do back then? It's like, oh, I know what I did. I opened up a newspaper and looked through the help wanted ads, and I thought, I'll just get a second job.
Okay.
I'm looking through the ads while I'm at my lunch break at work. It was an office type of setting. And I saw detailers wanted, no experience necessary, will train, detailing routes throughout all of Southern California. And I thought, wow, I like cars.
Right.
I've washed a car before.
Right.
That seems, I love the outdoors.
Yeah.
It's like, sign me up.
Yeah.
So I called them. The company was called Tropic Shield. And someone out there is going to recognize this name. And this is going back into the, I think, either late 80s. It should be late 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Really what it was is bait and switch. And it was a company that was promoting, and what they called themselves was the appearance specialist or something. It was all about Teflon coatings.
Okay.
You know, the old Teflon, nothing sticks to Teflon,
Right.
a total BS.
Right.
And that's a whole different tangent we can go down, which we won't. But that's what it was, is they literally advertised that they would train you. And so my thinking was is that, well, shoot, I'll go work for them. I'll learn how to do it on my own, and I'll just go off on my own.
Right.
And so I thought,
Got nothing to lose.
I don't have to overthink that part.
Right.
So I showed up, you know, totally wet behind the ears, like, here, Skippy's here,
Yeah.
I'm ready to work. And so they go through this introduction, and they demonstrate their products on your car, which was impressive. And it's like, wow, that is cool. Sign me up. And then after they kind of like get you, you know,
Worked
all
up.
amped
Yeah.
up, really, you know, pander to your emotions, then they say, oh, by the way, if there's guys that already know you want to go into the business on your own, we do have this opportunity, and you can buy our kit. And we'll train you, and you've got this full kit. It's got all our products and everything, and you can run your own business. I thought, that's me. That's why I'm here. Sign me up. I bought one of their kits. It was like $1,500. Went through 2 days of training out in LA. Total BS. Literally learned next to zero about detailing. Went away and did absolutely nothing with it. So I spent that money. All those chemicals sat in my garage, did nothing with it. I'm in college because I don't know what to do with myself. Mm-hmm. And I thought, well, I don't know what I'm going to do in life when I grow up. In the meantime, I at least need to get some education because it was just a default.
Right.
So I'm in art class, and this pretty hot-looking Asian girl is sitting across my art table. She says, oh, you know what? I need to get my car detailed. And my ears perk up.
You're like, I do detailing.
Yeah, exactly. And I said, hey, I do detailing, just like you said. And she goes, really? How much do you charge? I'm going, I don't know. In my head, this is my internal dialogue. I'm going, I don't know. And so I'm thinking, like $40. And she goes, really? When can you do my car? And I'm all like, whoa, I didn't see that coming.
Right.
How about Saturday? She goes, yeah. Where do you live? She goes, oh, I live in Yorba Linda. I said, hey. I had to think now. Where did I? Oh, I lived in Brea at the time, so right next door. I said, hey, I live in Brea anyways. This was at Fullerton College.
Right.
So I went to Pet Boys, stocked up with a crate, a milk crate, bought some wax, some cleaners, some leather, whatever, you know, just spent some money, brought my extension cord. I literally worked out of the back of a Datsun. When was the last time you heard that word?
Yeah.
A Datsun 280Z, a little two-door sports car with a hatchback.
Yep.
I shoved a hose, an extension cord, a vacuum, my crate full of
basics.
stuff. The absolute basics. I showed up. I detailed her car for about 2.5 hours, walked away with $40 in my pocket.
Stoked.
I said, I'm sold. I am in.
That's awesome.
So I printed up some business cards, did the design work, went to Brea Mall, passed them out on cars, got kicked off because that was not allowed. But fortunately, I happened to leave a card on the right car. The lady called me. She lived in Hacienda Heights. I ended up doing her car, her husband's car, her dad's car, the neighbors across the street car. And I thought, this is cool.
Right.
And it was part-time.
Right.
And it just grew from there. And then I continued to work for corporate America. And every day I became more and more bitter and thought, I am not going to last with this gig. And I got to just go out on my own. I decided to go shopping for a guy that was getting out of the business. He had a route that consisted of 3 whole clients.
You drew out.
Yes. But he had a truck that was already set up, the equipment, and it was kind of like you and I talked about before, where sometimes you just want to be validated and given some kind of assurance. It's like, hey, you know what? It's pretty simple. This is what you do.
Right.
This is, you show up on this day, you walk into that door, they have the keys waiting for you. It's like, you know what? That was worth a lot of money to me.
Right.
Bought his route, and I literally went, it was in a business park in Santa Ana. I literally went around and just knocked on every business door in that place, handed out my cards. And I tell guys this on my videos. It's like, if you don't have the money to build a website or have it done for you and do all that search engine marketing and stuff, the old school way still works.
Right.
And it's cool because I've had guys write in and say, Darren, you're right. That one-on-one communication, because that's where you develop that trust, that rapport. And so don't underestimate the old school way.
Right. Still works.
You just go out and you talk to everyone. You have your business card and just introduce yourself. You'd be surprised at what comes from that.
Yeah.
The conversation that opens up. The more you can get someone to talk, the more rapport that you build.
Absolutely.
And they begin to trust you. And people want to do business with people that are friendly, that are likable, and that they trust. And so that's what I did. And it just built from there.
Wow.
And I got one customer after another. Next thing I know, I'm hiring my first guy. Next thing I know, I'm getting so busy. It's like, dude, we got to put together another crew because we can't handle the work.
Wow.
So I saved my money along the way. I had enough money to buy another truck. I sent him out, and then it just escalated from there.
Wow.
So it was not by design.
Yeah.
It was really out of necessity. And then the more I did it, the more I thought, wow, this is cool. I'm out here working on cars. I'm out in the sun. I can never get enough sun.
Right.
You know, as being white as I am, I love the sun. I love the outdoors. I love my music. So I'm out there working on these sweet cars.
It's ideal.
I've got my music blaring, which, sorry, neighbors.
Right.
But at this time, it was in business parks.
Right.
And it's like, it can't get any better than this.
Yep.
I sign me up all day long. And like you said before, it's like you're meeting new people all the time. Yep. You're interacting with them. You're building relationships. So
what could be better?
Yeah. But in the meantime, my course has taken so many diversions. And every time it's always detailing. Detailing's been the one consistent thing through the entire 25-plus history. And I've lived some history. Most of which I could talk about.
Today's sponsor of the show is Bluehost. Bluehost offers domains and hosting. If you're looking at buying a domain name or hosting your current domain name, head on over to autodetailingpodcast.com/website. I've worked out a deal with Bluehost for special discounts and offers for Auto Detailing Podcast listeners, and it also helps me out too. Gives me a little bit of kickback for each one of you that sign up through that website, autodetailingpodcast.com/website, where you can get a free domain name with a hosting plan. So head on over to autodetailingpodcast.com/website and pick up that free domain with any hosting package. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Auto Detailing Podcast. Head on over to autodetailingpodcast.com for full show notes and links of everything that we've talked about today. And don't forget to check out our resources page for a direct link to all the products talked about not only on today's episode, but that I use in my day-to-day detail business. They have direct links so you can purchase and get free shipping right from that page. That's autodetailingpodcast.com. We'll see you on the next episode.